Hi guys, this is a lesson on tabs. Um, Tabs can be very confusing for people, and if you notice on the screen right now, everything looks discombobulated. If you want to see your tabs, you can click on your Show Hide button, and all of your non-printing characters will show up. Now right now what I have is a document that has a tab before each column, but by default tabs are set up every half an inch. So when we hit this first tab, the next item is going to show up at half an inch. And then beyond that, when we hit tab again, these look lined up right at the 1 inch mark. Now because these items right here are a varying length, when you hit tab after NCIS, Tuesday will be lined up at 1.5, but Arrested Development is much longer, so the tab following it will line up Monday at 2.5 inches. So here we have the days of the week all messed up. So what we can do is we can override all of these tabs by setting up custom tabs. Now before we do that, notice the first line does not have a tab. I left that blank on purpose, because if I hit the tab right now, look at what's going to happen to this first line indent. I'm not actually going to get a tab. Instead, my first line indent marker moved into the half-inch mark. But I have this autocorrect options menu that pops up, and I can say, hey, change back to a tab. So now my first row looks like all my other rows, and that it has a tab right before it. Now, what I was saying about custom tabs is you can set up a tab by going up to your ruler. This is your tab selector button, by the way. This is a left tab. This is a center tab. This one's a right tab. This one right here is a decimal tab. And then this is called a bar tab. Here's the first line indent, which is referring to this guy right there. This one is your hanging indent, which is the second part of this, which can be separated. And let's see, and now we're back to the beginning. I'm just going to stay on left tabs for now. But in order to set up a tab, and you may know this from word processing, but I always like to review tabs. I can set up tabs at, like, maybe I want the first tab to start at half an inch, and I want my second tab to start at 1 inch, but then for my third tab I want it to go farther than my longest title, which is Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So maybe I want 3.5 inches. Okay. Or if I want to slide it back because that's a little bit too far, I can do that. Okay. I'm going to set up my next tab perhaps at 4.25 inches, and I'm going to set up my next tab somewhere around here just so everything is spaced apart. But there's a few things I don't like about using left tabs. First of all, if these numbers had little periods after them, then what we could do is, actually I don't even think you need the periods, but I'm going to put the periods in anyway. We can set this up on a decimal tab. If the periods weren't there, it would be fine because it would think that the decimal place would be right after the number. I don't like how the numbers, the periods make it more obvious how they go in and out and in and out and in and out. So a better selection for this column, instead of a left tab, we're going to change it to a decimal tab, which is this one right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tab away. I'm going to click and hold and drag it down into thin air. And now I am going to reset with a decimal tab selected right there. Now, it only fixed the row that I was on, so please don't make that mistake. What you want to do is highlight everything. Okay, so see how some of these tabs are now grayed out? They're still there. And if I click on this left tab, I'm going to bring it down. Everything will be messed up for a minute, no worries. I'm going to go back and I'm going to insert my decimal tab. Now notice the difference. The decimals are all lined up, and I think that looks much better. Okay? So for this tab, you know, maybe we just want to adjust it so it looks like it's centered over the top, the title centered over the top of this column. That's not a big deal. Notice when I am on the first row, my tab is here, but when I click to the second row, it changes. So you can customize tabs for every single row of your document. I do like the left tab set up for the TV show. I think that works nicely there. And I think it works good for a weekday also. Everything is aligned left. So I'm going to leave this left tab, and I'm going to leave this one a left tab. But this one, I don't like how PM is out, and then it's in, then it's out. So what we can do with this one, and again, I'm going to change the tab for all of the rows, so I'm going to select them first. I'm going to change this left tab to a right tab, but because I want it to be lined up on the right side, I'm not going to place my right tab at 4 1/4 inches. I'm going to place it closer to 5 inches. Okay? So first let me go get the right tab by clicking through my selector bar. This is the right tab. Now I'm first going to get rid of my left tab that I don't want by clicking and holding it and dragging it down. Everything's messed up for a minute, no worries. And I'm going to find my place right before 5 inches. I'm going to set my right tab. Now look at how nice this looks. The PMs, and there's an AM in there, are all lined up. And if I wanted to adjust this left tab, I can do that so it looks like it's centered over the top. Not a big deal. And then just to demonstrate what another tab does, we're going to center this. We're going to center the network abbreviations right underneath the network title. So we're going to change this left tab to a center tab. So let me click through my tab selector. This is a center tab. It looks very similar to a decimal tab, but it doesn't have the decimal beside it. I'm going to highlight all of my rows. And let me think. If I want to center the tab, I'm going to line it up so it's going to be right on the W in network. So first I'm going to eliminate the left tab that I don't want. And everything's messed up for a minute, no worries. I'm going to set my center tab, and again I can slide this around until I release my mouse button, so it looks like it's pretty much centered right in the middle of the word network. I'm going to release my left mouse button, and everything is centered right underneath that point, right under the W in network. Okay? So I hope that demonstrates a little bit about how tabs work, how to set them, how to delete them, how to move them around, how to click through the row selector. And what I'm going to have you do is create a table from scratch. I'm not going to create this whole table for you, but I am going to take this a step further. And I would like to show you how to clear the tabs as well. So here we go. I'm going to highlight all of this. And if you want to clear all of your tabs, you can go into the paragraph group, and there's a tabs button. In the tabs button, we're going to click on clear all. Okay, so all my tabs are gone, and it kind of went back to where we were in the beginning within reason. Okay, the next part of the video is where I would like to get you started on your assignment. So simply go into your header and you can type in your title. Top ranked shows airing February 2014. I'm going to do the first few for you, and then on your assignment you're going to be entering in the other part of the list. Okay, so we're out of the header. If you know where you want your tabs to be, you can set them up at the very beginning. So your instructions will probably tell you to set up a decimal tab first. I have a decimal tab set up at 1/2 inch, and then we're going to need a left tab, set up at 1/2 inch. We need another left tab set up just past the 2-inch mark. I think that's 2 1/8. Now we need a right tab. So our right tab is going to be set up at 4 3/4. There's 4 3/4, right between 4 1/2 and 5. And finally we need a center tab. The center tab is going to be set up at 6 inches. Okay, so once you have all your tabs set, you can just go to town, entering in your data. So I do like to have the show hide on so I can see that my tabs are there. And I'm going to type rank in TV show, weekday, time, and network. Now when I hit enter, I am going to enter in my next set of data, and it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Let's see. Keep source formatting. Oh, merge formatting. Look at that. I had that copied on my clipboard. You'll learn more about the clipboard later. Merge formatting. If I were just to paste it with the source formatting, this is how it was when I copied it to my clipboard, but I'm going to merge it with the formatting in my document. That's awesome. I just did that so I could speed up a little time here. Okay, so there's, notice these don't go in order. These do not go in order because ranks 2 and 3 were not airing as of February 2014, which is when I'm actually making this video. Okay, so you of course will be typing these in as you go, but I just didn't want you to have to sit here and watch me type the whole time. Okay. Okay. Now, let's analyze what we have here. Notice I don't have my periods, but the decimal would be at the end of the number, so it's still lined up just like so. So you can choose to have the periods or not. In this case, I don't like where I set up my tab for the weekday, so I'm going to slide that over. Okay, so a better choice is to have it at the 2 1/2 inch mark. I'll be sure to get it right on your directions. Sometimes we learn from our mistakes, so that's good. Now remember, we can take the first row and we can adjust where the tabs are, because weekday looks like it's off center here. Okay, so we can just slide it over so it looks centered. Maybe you want time to be a little bit centered over that column. Network looks good. The rest look pretty good. We can always move TV show over a little bit. Okay, and maybe we want to bold those titles to make them pop out. Okay, so have fun with your tab assignment. Don't forget to proofread. Proofreading is ultra important. And I hope you feel much more confident about tabs. Please post any questions that you have about this topic in Moodle, and we'll get those answered for you. Thank you.